Hello and welcome to Eurosport's coverage of Stage 11 in the Tour de France, running from Cahors-Lourdes Hautacam. The riders will cover 263.5 kilometres, that's 164 miles, and this is the second longest stage in the race. And to end what promises to be a war of attrition is a thumping great climb of 13.5 kilometres to finish 1,560 metres above sea level. And the sad news for British fans, Chris Boardman retired from the race after 100 kilometres had been covered. The main group today have set fairly hot pace, but they're chasing after a breakaway. This breakaway group here with Garotto. Let me give you a rundown on who they are. Garotto, Schwartz, Magnin, Decker and Yaman. And you can see now on your screens they're at 196 kilometres at Vic en Bigorre. And the breakaway group went after 134 kilometres had been covered when they came over the top of the second climb of the day, the Côte de Bruck. It wasn't much of a big climb, in fact, just a little fourth category one to catch them out. De Klerk took the climb with Rossi, and the group about 12 men as we came down the other side swept away into the lead, and they looked around a bit and chopped it around, and then suddenly 5 left the rest and off they went. Garotto, Schwartz, Yaman, Magnin and Decker. Sorensen and Peter de Klerk tried to chase them down. This little group we're looking at now, they got to within 55 seconds of them at one point when the main group was 1 minute and 55 back, and then slowly but surely the bunch reeled in the 2 men wedged between the leading group and the main peloton, and Sorensen and Peter de Klerk were caught after 165 kilometres of racing. At that moment, the 5 men we're looking at now had a lead of 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and the last time check we had at 185 kilometres was that it was 5 minutes and 10 seconds. I have with me in the commentary point Stephen Roche watching with bated breath. This check is now gone up to 6 minutes and 19 seconds. Stephen, this seems to be playing right into the hands of the top climbers behind, because they're all sitting in a nice little group now, no doubt worried about this big climb to come and let these rabbits go away.
Well, they are, because there's nobody in that group, but very, very dangerous in general classification. Even as they get closer today on the general, like there's still so many climbs, more climbs to come. The likes of Garotto, Cahors, and these guys, they will all be getting dropped once you get to the big mountains. But it's good tactics here from the Veneto team, just riding along at a nice pace, not riding along flat out. As you can see, the bunch are very much grouped together. That means that the speed is not on very, very fast. But the riders are just riding around, rotating between themselves in front of the group, keeps the certain speed up, which means the group won't get 20 minutes, which then could become dangerous. And at the same time, by having 6, 7 riders in the front, it means that not one rider is overdoing it. It's a very, very balanced operation. But at the same time, it's playing a little bit into the hands of Rominger as well, because it means that these riders that are riding in the front now will not have the power necessary to help Indurain in the final climb. So if Rominger can isolate Indurain from his teammates, it could help him a lot.
This climb we're coming to later on, we will talk quite a bit about it as we go towards it. We just keep our fingers crossed, by the way, that we'll get the pictures, because the fog has come down, the low cloud as such, and when this happens, then unfortunately the helicopter can't fly, and we won't be able to pick up any of the shots. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that it blows away, and you back home will see what is the first time we've ever finished up Lourdes Hautacam. A lot of these riders here are wondering what it's going to be like on this climb, and we've driven up it already today. The spectators are walking their way up, riding their bikes up, those on their mountain bikes with little granny gear going, revving away, and it's really the tough one. There's only a small amount of false flat, about 2/3 away up, but really it's a nasty little climb. It twists and turns, and all the days you've been racing, Steve, you've been over some pretty hard climbs in the Tour de France. Just how would you say this one compares with the other climbs of this sort of distance? I'm not talking about the long drags up the Pyrenees, but this particular climb with this little twisted bend seemed rather interesting.
They do, but one thing that surprised me when I was coming up in the car is that normally when they're having it finished out of Tour de France, a stage finish on a mountaintop, normally it's a big wide open road, or where you must take into consideration that you have 170 odd riders coming up definitely at least coming into, because today there's no other real difficulty before hitting this climb, so the riders are going to be coming in there at full speed, all grouped up, everybody fighting for positions. And all of a sudden you went to this very small, as you call it here, forestry road. Like that doesn't mean a dirt road, but a road is no more than, say, 5 yards wide at its widest part. So it's not very wide, again, taking into consideration that you have 173, 174 riders. So I was a bit surprised in that end of it, but the hill itself is not actually what everyone was saying it was going to be. Everybody was saying that it's very, very steep, it's very this and very that, whereas I found that it's not a hill that I cannot see Rominger getting away from Indurain on it, because it's actually a hill that will suit Indurain. It goes up at an average of about 10%. 7%, sorry, with some one or two different areas on it where it goes to 10%. So that's like Indurain. It's a hill that Indurain would like, because on the 10% parts where he can hang on, and then on the 7% he can recover. So it goes up and in 2 or 3 different stages. So I'd say like I cannot see Rominger putting too much time, if any at all. I myself can see Rominger finishing with Indurain.
So they've preserve their strength for the rest day tomorrow, and to go on to the big climbs yet to come. The chase group here at the moment with the Once on the front, well, they've lost their star man in the sprint, Jalabert. In fact, I saw a great big pink sheet. Somebody actually sort of dyed it pink.
If you look at the rider here, you see there's a mouthpiece. If you're looking very close to the picture, you can see there's a mouthpiece in front of his mouth, and we're going back into his hat. That is a microphone, a two-way system going back to the car. The ONCE team now have taken over from the Motorola team. Motorola still have it, but the ONCE team now have developed it even more so. And at least one rider in the team is relating all the time back to the car, and the car relating to the rider, saying you must do this, you must do that, and go and tell so-and-so to come to the front, or so-and-so's punctured, and they can, one rider will have a two-way system, and the other riders could have a one-way system, whereas he can hear the orders coming out but can't answer back. Whereas at least one rider in the team will have the opportunity to talk back to the car.
Yes, I saw this morning that Denise of the Motorola team had got one of these little plugs in his ear, so he's their link man. I know there's several of them do it as well. I think Anderson's another link man they often have, but this morning Denise had got the little headphone in his ear as well. Yes, talking about the ONCE team, I say about this pink banner that's hanging out. Somebody sprayed a slogan across it, which roughly translated spare a thought for Jalabert. Well, this always happens in the feeding stage, a bit difficult, bottles fly everywhere, and Musettes as well. And it's a nasty part of the course. Mountebank coming down there. It's not unknown that the Musettes can get dropped and blown into the wheel, but it looks to me like he's just had the misfortune to touch a wheel. He hasn't seemed to have got anything in his wheel at all.
What happens here is the riders are coming along this road. There's 21 teams in the Tour de France. There's about 2 people to each team standing on the side of the road. That means about 45, 50 people standing on the side of the road with Musettes handing up to each rider. There might be sometimes maybe 2 or 3 yards between each soigneur who are handing up different Musettes. So it's the riders themselves must pick out their own soigneur and know where to go to. And when you're in the front, it's okay because you can see where you're going and where the other guy in front of you is going. But when you're behind, it's amazing. And everything happens behind. You can get Musette in your wheel. You can get somebody actually missing out on his Musette, and all of a sudden he sees his soigneur. He dives across to his soigneur, not thinking, well, it could be somebody coming up on the inside and takes the wheel from under you. It gets very dangerous as you get back down the peloton. But it's very rare you have actually a crash in the feeding station. But as you saw ourselves, it does happen.
And the riders today will still be drinking plenty of liquid, but not as much as they might have expected. We were looking at the forecast yesterday, and they were talking about temperatures touching the 30s again today, and the sun beating down. It's not been so at all. You see them coming through now, collecting these bags that Stephen was talking about. And
you see the gap between each soigneur there. There's 2 different teams there together. There's about 3 or 4 yards between them, separating them. So you can imagine when you're riding along there about 35 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, you got to pick out your own man. Normally what they do is the team manager or the team soigneur who is there giving up the Musette will always have the team colour jerseys or something distinctive that catches your eye, so that you can the rider just gonna pick out his man and go for him straight away.
And the riders filling their pockets. In the old days, they used to have pockets in front of the jerseys as well. Now they just got them at the back where they can stuff the food in and put the bottles down into the feeding cages. 2 of them, one on the down tube, one on the seat tube. And you also probably saw them rolling the bottles over to the side of the road. They can't hurl them, otherwise they might clouch somebody. Empty bottles, they just roll them away. And of course, the souvenir hunters go chasing around all over the place. In fact, I was talking to 2 British cyclists a couple of days ago after the stage into Bergerac, and they said that they just had this bottle thrown, and he was 20 metres away from getting it, and little lad swept up the bottle. He said, I could have taken that one back to England and said, this is a genuine Tour de France bottle. There were a couple of teachers from the Battery area who were out having a week's holiday, riding around, seeing different parts of the course, and they just missed a souvenir of the Tour.
Well, you get actually at the feeding station, it's amazing the number of people that come along just to take a musette, to take a bottle, because they know that the riders, you don't normally see them actually in the feeding station, but normally about anywhere from 20 yards to 2 kilometres after the feeding station, you can see lads sitting on the side of the road, collecting the musettes, collecting the bottles, because the riders, they will put the musette on first, then they look and see what they have inside it. They have a bottle of orange juice or a bottle of water or a bottle of Easy Star or whatever. They will taste whichever one they want. And before they throw the bottle on the bike away, they make sure that they're not going to lose the bottle, and then they throw the bottle away. So the people on the side of the road have a great time picking up the bottles and the musettes and anything else is going.
Looking down then to these riders who are allowing that breakaway group probably to ease forward. The last time check we had at 67 kilometres to go, the gap was 6 minutes and 19 seconds, and I think certainly going for the field it will have slowed down the group, so it could be getting near to 7 minutes. These are the riders in the lead at the moment. Carotto here at the back in the yellow colours, the Motorola colours of Schwartz just up in front. Then there's Mannion, Decker and Yeoman. They went away after 134 kilometres have been covered. The gap is growing all the time. Well, we're going to take a short break. Do come back for more action from Eurosport in just a couple of minutes. Foie gras, it seems to be a national pastime to produce foie gras around the Bergerac and Cahors area, and everywhere you go you see pictures of ducks for which they get the livers to make the lovely foie gras pate. But now we're heading down to the Spanish border, and tonight we're staying in Lourdes, and we have a day off tomorrow. It's a rest day on July the 14th, and the man in the National Championship jersey of France, Indurain, who won yesterday's stage, didn't catch up with that one, is being feted by the press, because it's not often that they get a French victor in the Tour de France, a stage victor, wearing the National Champions jersey. Certainly Laurent Fignon did it way back, and also Bernard Hinault did it, and Bernard Thévenet and Raymond Delille. So we just had now 5 riders wearing the National Championship jersey.
Probably here to get put with the Carrera team.
Yes.
It looks like... who's the problem now? We don't know who's the problem. Rossi had his hand up, possibly Pantani. Pantani is there, we see it's Pantani, so...
It's not him.
Normally Pantani shouldn't be waiting, so I don't know what's happening. Because Pantani would, even if Capucci has a problem, normally Pantani must stay in the front. So maybe Pantani had a problem and the riders are waiting for him. It's very strange, you don't know. He seems to be riding, but something's happened with his bike maybe. Yeah, Pantani seems to have a problem. So, yeah, they're going to change the bike.
They're pulling over now to do the change, aren't they? They've all gone back to help him with the change.
This is great camera work. Yeah. Normally we should see Pantani changing the bike here. He must change the bike. He shouldn't stop there though. He should stop in front of the car. He should stop. He's stopping here behind the car for lack of experience. No. Lack of experience. Look at him. Lack of experience. Like he shouldn't have stopped behind the car.
He's got to go around it now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got to go around it, yeah. Whereas also what happens normally is you stop in front of the car, so the mechanic then jumps out and runs forward to you. Whereas they had to jump out and run back. Yeah. Whereas what happens when you stop in front of the car, the mechanic jumps out, runs onto you, gives you your bike, you jump on the bike, you push it off, all in the one movement. Whereas they had to get off, go behind the car, push him around the car, and then Pantani had to get his momentum going again. So and then he has to go back and get his old bike. Whereas what normally happens is everything happens in front of the car, so that while the mechanic is pushing the rider away, the director will be in the car, be getting out of the car, picking up the old bike and putting it back on the car, so that when the mechanic comes back to the car, you just drive away again.
How does somebody correct that? I mean, is his team manager tonight going to say you got that wrong, or the mechanic, or you just have to? I mean,
well, he should do it.
You can't practice it, can you?
He should do it, but if he doesn't do it, I'm staying with them tonight, so I'll be telling him tonight. But it's well, I probably they know me anyway. I get on very well with the Carrera team, and they always ask me, Stephen, what do you think of this, what do you think of that, and so tonight they'll not be asked. If they don't ask me anything, I'll be telling Pantani where he went wrong today.
So they can retain your coach, can they?
You can see this is typical teamwork now for a leader. Capucci, who is also in the Carrera team, he doesn't come back because with Capucci and Pantani being the two leaders on the team, one of them will stay in front at all times. So in this situation, it's Pantani who's the problem. All the team wait for Pantani, and Capucci stays in the front.
So Carrera in full flight to get back up into the group, and of course they've got the big climb ahead, which will suit Pantani and suit Kipucci, because the team must now be looking for stage victories, surely.
Well, they have to be. In the last few days you've seen Mario Chiesa going ahead in the front, but unfortunately every time he's been caught before the finish. So now we're in the mountains, like it'll be more down to Kipucci and Pantani. With the form and the class that Marco Pantani showed in the Giro a few weeks ago, everybody's expecting great things from him here. But I spoke to him the other night, and he's kind of giving excuses already, saying, well, I am very tired after the Giro. I had too many receptions after the Giro. My parents this and television that, and the receptions and the press. And so, but he's kind of a guy who he needs to have an excuse.
This is our leading group, and the gap is coming down all the time. The best lead they had, these five men that went away after 134 kilometres had been covered, was just some 6 minutes and 32 seconds at Tarbes. They had been gaining ground all the way through until we got there with some 40 kilometres to go, but the bunch has gone faster and faster. Now with 13 kilometres to go, they're getting towards the tough part of the climb, and the gap then will soon be down to less than a minute. Stephen Schwartz sitting here at the back, led the DuPont Tour for 4 stages in 1992, and he finished 3rd overall. He'd been riding a lot in America, and now he's the unknown quantity. We had the same thing happen the other day when he went away. Oh, the dog came out then. I thought they were going to get that dog, but fortunately, well, on the end of a lead, and the gap now is 43 seconds. And I thought now, inside the minute, the pressure that Once put onto the front of the field has had its effect. The gap has come down now. Mappe Class
is coming on as Chavet comes to the front. Chavet is a very good climber. He's my generation, but he's a rider who often wins stages in the major tours. Doesn't actually win the major tours, but he's often won stages in it. As the Rominger sitting in 2nd position. I'm surprised that Mappe Class has not got more riders around Rominger. But if you remember yesterday, one of his teammates had a very, very bad accident, and he was taken to the hospital last night. And we kept him in for a couple of hours, stitched the back of his ear up, and told him, well, today, see how it goes, and if you're okay, go ahead, but if you have any pain at all, don't be afraid to stop it. But it's unfortunate for Rominger, because it was his best teammate for the mountains.
That's shame, and shame now for these 5-man group, because Magnan here, winner of the stage in 4 days of Dunkirk now, when it was much flatter. The hills are nothing like the one we got now as far as he's concerned. Looking back anxiously, he's been shelled out of that 5-man group. Young Decker was also having difficulty hanging on there. Decker looks over his shoulder as well. The word perfect rider beginning to struggle on the climb, and they've still got something like about 12 kilometres to go. And all the way up the climb, there are boards showing not only how far it is to the top of the climb, but also it shows how many metres above sea level you are. They know that climbing up here at the moment, they're going to have to reach a height of 1,560 metres at the very top. But at the bottom at Lourdes they came through, the height was just 430 metres, so they're climbing 1,100 metres. That's something round about 3,500 feet of climbing. Still Gerard Rouet on the front, and the Gavis beginning to move up the front. I see Richard Veronco on the far side for Festina as well. Good mountain climber he is, and still Mappe Class driving it hard. In fact, the gap's opening up a little bit here. Sure, that's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But
Magnan's been caught.
Yeah, this is Gonzalez having a go here, but the Benesses are not reacting straight away. They're going to try and keep a good tempo, because this is what Indurain would want, or Rominger would want. Rominger would want the riders to go as fast as they can after Gonzalez, so that they would tire him out a little bit, and then he would counterattack. So this rider's like a hare in front of a rabbit, in front of the hounds. Like he's trying to draw out the Benesses as much as he can to try and eliminate the teammates of Indurain, so that later on Rominger can counterattack. I wouldn't be surprised after when Gonzalez is caught, another Mappe Class rider might have a go.
So they're bouncing off the front one at a time. The sad news for British supporters is that Chris Boardman's not going to attempt to climb this hill. He climbed off his bike after 100 kilometres a day, saving himself, I'm sure, for the World Time Trial later in the season. There's only about 3 weeks to go. Sensibly, they pulled him out of the race. A great shame then for Boardman, but he certainly had guts. He was getting rather tired, though. Sensibly then, the GAN team pulled him out. He was lying 7th this morning, 6 minutes and 6 seconds back. Just let me quickly run down on those leading gaps at the moment. Indurain had a lead of 2 minutes and 28 seconds this morning on Tony Rominger, as our breakaways are being hauled in one at a time, and now only Sports, he's getting caught, and Garotto's getting caught. That's it, it's all over by the shouting. The big men have pulled back the breakaways. All that attempt to stay away have failed, and now the mountain climbers are coming into their own. It's the first time we really have seen these specialists in action. Further down, the little climbs, the third and fourth category ones we've had, the chaps who can roll were rolling over those. Now it's the specialist men, and the amazing is that big hulk of Indurain can actually go up with them, and Pantani is coming up as well, and so we're going to see, I think, some action today from Pantani on the left-hand side for Carrera. No doubt about it, he and Chiappucci have got to start looking for stage victories, but as far as they're concerned, they may be allowed to let slip, because Claudio Chiappucci is lying 22nd overall, 10 minutes down, and Pantani way back in 58th place is 14 minutes and 47 seconds down. Good chance for them to have a go at this one as they reel in Yaman, one of our breakaways, who's now been caught, and ahead of them lies the mist, and let's hope we can get some more pictures before we go off air, because this could be a cracker if they launch some attacks on this climb, because it does get tough. The swinging hairpins are very, very difficult indeed to get round. The bunch, though, is still fairly compact.
It is, and Indurain looks very, very comfortable, as you see Marco Pantani and Roberto Conti coming up on your left here. Roberto Conti is riding the pink jersey for Lampre. As the speed seems to be going up here, we see Luc Leblanc in the middle of the picture here riding for the Festina team. We see Arnaud de Escrivas in the middle riding for the Castorama team. Who else is there? Alex Zoul in the pink Once jersey, just throwing his hat on the ground. All the top men are here, just missing Claudio Chiappucci. Don't see him in there at the moment. But
Amilcar Escrivas is there as well. Did you mention it? Just through there. There's his glasses.
Escrivas is there. So all the men are here. So I just hope that our pictures hold out as long as possible, because we're going to definitely see some good action here in the final. So I just hope the mist is good to us today, and we can get our pictures to you here on your screen.
One man who's missing from this at the moment in that leading group is Peter de Klerk, the King of the Mountains. Came into today's stage with 51 points in the mountains. He's collected 2 of the 4th category climbs, and that gives you now 61 points in all. But the climber who wins today will get 40 points, 35 for second, 30 for third, and so on down. So somebody like Chiappucci would want to be in there scoring points today, and the action's coming on here. Both going.
Yeah, he's very good. The rider will just come on an awful lot over the last couple of years, and Pantani takes his wheel.
Good move by Pantani, just pulling that wheel up to here. Bolt's a strong rider. Pantani perhaps more like a little mountain goat. One of these chaps weighing about 8 stone, wet through, and they'll be perspiring now because...
As Pantani counters.
Yeah.
He tries to go on his own, but I think he's too far for the moment. Indurain takes the front himself. That's not a good sign. Indurain is on the front himself. That's not a good sign, because it means his teammates are dropping back. This is what's one that Pantani will be really looking for, because with Indurain being isolated now, it leaves great room for even Rominger. Rominger might even be able to counter now in a few minutes, but it's unusual to see Indurain backing off, because even though Pantani is some 4 or 5 minutes behind in general classification, even more, 10 minutes behind in general classification, any time that Pantani can take out, there are a lot of mountains in the Tour de France. If Pantani can take 2 minutes out of here, and a minute out of there, and another minute out of another climb, 10 minutes comes down very, very quickly, so he doesn't want to be giving Pantani any time.
And Jojo Furlan, who won the Milan San Remo to start what was going to be a fantastic season. He's won about 9 races since that first one. He then had some problems and has been out of action a bit, but this wouldn't seem to me to be a Furlan-type climb,
No, you can see the gap was opening up between Pantani and Furlong. Furlong will hold on for a little bit, I say, because of the fact that I mean, he'll hold on, as you see from the pictures here, but when the road is relatively 10%, Furlong can hold on as a Furlong hill, but every now and again the road goes up steeper, and this is where Furlong will get dropped. As you see Indurain here in the frontier group, this is great stuff now. I just hope now that Rominger can make take to his advantage, but I cannot see Rominger here in the picture. It's very unusual. He's
Cahors-Lourdes is behind him, and then
Luc Leblanc is there.
Leblanc is there, yeah.
Conti, Zoule.
Where's Rominger? There he is.
Yeah, he's there, yeah. Just in the back of the picture, yeah.
So Indurain has to do the work.
This is great tactics now by the Carrera team, and it's also hopefully going down into the hands of Tony Rominger if he has the form to attack. Rominger has been saying he's getting better and better each day, that wait for the mountains, but today's the first day of the mountain, so he has to try to do something. As you see, Richard Virenque here on the right hand side of the screen, he's riding on the front with Indurain.
Virenque then, good mountain climber. He's taken the King of the Mountains jersey for a short period in the Tour de France. The gap to Pantani is 16 seconds.
This is always a problem, David. See here, Mikel Indurain always finds somebody to ride in the front. He hasn't got to ask anybody, but he always finds some rider who doesn't know what he's doing, if you put it mildly, rides from the front and rides into Indurain's hand.
Your tactics then would be let Pantani go for it, just let Indurain work for a couple of kilometres.
Let Indurain
jump in.
Indurain has a jersey. Indurain has a jersey. Let him ride. For the last 2 weeks, Indurain has let everybody else ride to defend their jersey. Today the jersey is Mikel Indurain. Let him ride. Why is Conti riding? He has nobody else apart from himself really to ride for in the group. So apart from Sword, of course, who is riding very well at the moment, but as regards to the overall classification, they have nobody really that can get placed. So leave Indurain look after his own washing.
And yeah, he's sitting up looking back, Conti now, and Pantani romping up this hill. These are the tactics he put in on the weekend before the Saturday and Sunday before the race finished on the following weekend. Pantani did just this in the Tour of Italy. He came from nowhere in 2 superb days, jumped up into 2nd place.
Where's Rominger though? There's Rominger there, the team going through. I feel Rominger, either he knows the hill and he's waiting for later on, or he's not feeling too good, because normally Rominger, if he was in good form, he would be practically on Mikel Indurain's wheel at this stage of the hill.
And also Pulnikov for the Courier team is in there. Can't see where Kiyopuchi's got to at the moment, but Pulnikov is up there, climbing well in this little group. And looking back here, still see the riders there. Bjorn Ries climbing well, number 41, who finished 5th in the Tour de France last year and riding for the Arrow Steer team. They're the national champion of Spain, the Mapei class rider, number 18 in the yellow and red. He's just a bit off your screen at the moment. He's just behind. Look, he's riding with him there. Olano riding up alongside Rominger for Mapei class, so he's got a teammate right there with him at the moment. And also climbing well for the Lamprey team, Tonkov, so some nice class riders here at the moment. And up here at the top too as well, Cabino, Ladino Cabino's also won a stage in the Tour de France for Kelmy. He's riding up near the front at the moment. He's got one man though at long last. It's Jean-Francois Bernard who's managed to get up there to drag his team leader along. This is a great chase. Pantani is about 20 seconds ahead. Jean-Francois Bernard leading the chase there with Indurain on his wheel. The man in front, Pantani, rode away from the rest of them, and one by one this group of riders is slimming down. We can't have more than about 15 men here. Most of the top men, although we've lost Kiyopuchi, Furlan being reeled in now. He tried to stay on Pantani's wheel. It just didn't work out at all. So Jean-Francois Bernard, this man really burying himself for his team leader.
Yeah, he's doing a very, very good job. Bernard is very rarely seen all day. He just comes to the front when sometimes we always get up for him, saying that he only comes to the front when the television cameras come around to show off his face. But today, of course, that suits Indurain, because this is the only time in the race where Indurain needs him. So it's great to have a teammate like Jean-Francois Bernard around when you need him.
But he's another big man, isn't he, Stephen? He's not what I call a natural mountain climber. He's by
he's
build.
Very good. He's not actually. Mikel Indurain is not a mountain climber either, but he gets over the hills. Whereas Jean-Francois Bernard, he's very, very supple. He's very, very cool peddling action, which suits the climbs. It wouldn't suit a group that goes in spurts all the time. Jean-Francois Bernard's a great climber when it goes up at a certain speed. So with this hill here today now is very good. It suits him down to the ground.
And the lead then, 35 seconds for the Pantani as they got this climb here. Tremendous burst of speed he's put on. He really has opened up a big gap at the moment then. Indurain concentrating hard here, more interested in hanging on to his yellow jersey. The man who's got to attack him though, with 2 minutes and 2 seconds down on general classification, is Rominger. And Rominger, is he moving up?
He's coming up on the inside, Rominger. Because Rominger may know this hill, and as I remember from coming up here earlier on, it's about 3 kilometers to the finish where it starts to get more difficult. So if Pantani can hold the gap now until 3 kilometers to go, if Bernard blows, for example, or if Rominger can attack, it can change everything. So looking at the road here, the finish here, we can see less and less here with the fog that's coming down. So I just hope that our pictures stay with us until as long as possible, because it's going to be an incredible finish today.
Pantani then, last time check I managed to make 35 seconds was the lead for this man then, who's now taking a swift streak. This is a false flat bit, just giving a little bit of a breathing space.
This is the part which suits Indurain. If it was going up and up and up all the time very regularly, it would suit Rominger and Pantani. But unfortunately, unfortunately for Pantani, but fortunately for Indurain, this flat part, or false flat, give Indurain time to recover.
and Pantani was on stage 14 in the Tour of Italy. Marco Pantani won that. That was 235 kilometres. Enormous mountains they went over. He's in the saddle for 7 hours and 43 minutes that day. The bunch now chasing down after a little mountain goat who has gone away from them. Last time check we had 35 seconds for Pantani from the Carrera team. A very good move on his part. We haven't seen his team leader Claudio Chiappucci yet, but certainly Pulnikov for Carrera is in there, and still the chase being led by Jean-Francois Bernard, and Indurain sitting comfortably in second spot.
Jean-Francois Bernard is doing an incredible job here today. Who is attacking? Cubino,
yeah.
Yeah. Cubino is having a go. As we can hear our friends, the Spanish journalists upstairs shouting. But Cubino is also a great rider. He hasn't kind of come out with the goals that everyone thought he might come up with, but every year he comes out to win the stage, either in the Tour de France or Tour of Spain, or when it's ever made a stage race, he normally comes out and wins one mountain stage race, then he's gone. So he's very well capable of going out to Pantani. He's much the same build, and he's one of the last, well, apart from Pantani now, he's one of the last genuine mountain climbers which kind of use the small gears, can just jump around all day on the climbs, and quite capable of going after and catching Pantani.
The Pantani it is that set the hot pace, but of course it's all about judgment on the climb. We've seen riders before steamroller away up the front and then suddenly find they're running out of strength and just get swallowed up by the chasers. Pantani it was that started the action. Cubino's gone, but the gap, I think Cubino doesn't seem to be going too far away. Accelerated quickly,
you can
and now
see the back of the group. You can see the back of the group, there's lads going off the back. This is possibly also because of the bad weather we saw earlier on. The lads' legs will be very, very hard from the wet. So when you hit a hill like this, it takes a long time for your legs to ride in. So lads will be exploding up all over the place. But it's the same thing for everybody. As Michael Indurain looks around and looking for one of his teammates, and sees they're all gone. We were saying in previous days that Rominga's team is better than Indurain's on the mountains, and here's the proof of it. The first mountain stage we have, and Indurain finds himself on his own. So I just hope now that the other teams just don't kind of without meaning to ride into his hands and make a tempo on the front and keeping the gap down. So this Tour de France has to be interesting and has to be exciting, and to make it exciting, Indurain has to be attacked and has to be, I won't say beaten, the best man must win, but Indurain has to be made to work.
They are making work right now. Zula's still in there in the pink. Varang just up here on the front at the moment. In that mid-stack group still I can see Armand de las Cuevas and Luc Leblanc. Tremendous battle going on here. Two men down the road, or up the road I should say, be more precise, Pantani and Lorena Cubino, and looks like Zula's beginning to move up a little bit now alongside Varang as well, and they are doing just the right thing, as you say. They're just letting Indurain out there and let him fry a bit.
Well, for the last 2 years they've all done it unpurposely or purposely and it's all played into the hands of Indurain. So maybe this year they're going to try and play the cards out differently, as Indurain seems to have accelerated here because the group is getting longer and longer. So that's how you know when the group is getting faster. When it's right slower, there's a kind of a regrouping, and the lads are spread from left to right on the road. But when the speed goes up, it just goes out in one line as Cubino is being caught.
Cubino caught, Pantani still in the lead. Last time check we had 35 seconds then for the leading rider, Pantani, and Indurain doing all the work right now. But surely, Stephen, if he wouldn't be too bothered about Pantani winning the stage, but he's just got to ride his own pace, isn't it?
What he has to do is keep the tempo down, keep the gap down. But what is the Carrera team car going up to Pantani? But what Michael must not do is ride too hard. So he rides hard, for example, and all of a sudden he hits a steeper part of the hill later on. Rominga could attack, or Las Cuevas could attack, or one of his direct rivals might attack. So he has to try and avoid riding to the limit to Pantani. You can allow him in there to give him the stage or whatever. But what he must not do is ride at any cost after Pantani to try to catch him, because it's sure and certain, as you see Ugramov here on Indurain's wheel, he will be countered, and that's what he just doesn't want.
Well, Ugramov and Zayn are there as well for Gavis Balan. Luc Leblanc just behind, and then Armand de las Cuevas and
Zule.
Cubino just shelled out a little bit off the front there, and so the riders here, we're down very much to penny numbers. Tonkov is still in there at the moment. for the Lamprey team, and
as we see Lino, Pasqualino has just blown.
And they've lost the Mapei class rider. Olano's gone now, then red and yellow. Rominger is there.
Rominger on the left there. Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's been blown out the back.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's why Indurain has accelerated.
So Indurain has put the hammer down now. Udo Bolt is hanging on behind Rominger, but Rominger is struggling on the first big climb in this, the 1994 Tour de France. The first day we hit a big mountain. This is a Hawk category climb. It's one of those that is beyond comprehension, and I don't know what's happened to Rominger now, but he can't hold the wheel of Indurain, who's prizing his way further up there. Lino, quite a good climber then. He's with some good men here. Olano, his teammate, has got to stay with his captain and try and work him up there, but the gap now is considerable. That's got to be about 80 to 100 yards, and at this sort of speed it's the thick end of 10 seconds as Cabino tried to go away. He's been blown out again. That shows the sheer strength of Miguel Indurain in the yellow jersey.
But Miguel, like I was saying, that he wouldn't want to be riding too hard. He'd be keeping it a little bit under the pedal, but I'm sure he's actually going flat out, because when he saw Rominger going off the back, well, his real danger man is Rominger.
Zuller's been dropped as well.
Once he drops Rominger, he can go flat out and hasn't got to worry about anybody else. So I'm sure it's giving him like a crack at the whip, and he knows it's do or die now. He go for the stage, I say.
So Tonkov's been dropped, Conti's been dropped as well. The damage is being done. Pantani rode away. Indurain responded by just putting on the constant pressure, and the gaps are opening up all the time.
Indurain was nearly on his own now, I'd say.
Well, they're being shot off left, right and centre at the moment. This is tough at the moment. Yeah, Nelson Rodriguez, the Colombian's upstairs to get the belt set now.
We call him Caco. Colombian his real name was Rodriguez.
Colombian commentators upstairs are getting a bit distraught with that one. And so here, Bronk, good man in climbers, still there.
Big man at the hammer.
Amanda Las Cuevas is still in this one. I mean, that man said he wanted a podium place in Paris at the end of it, and he's hanging on now to this leading group of climbers.
He is, yeah. He's definitely, he take back his third place, if not even get up to second place now in the overall classification, if he can hang on to Indurain today.
So when we started this morning, let's have a quick look at the general classification as regards that man, Amanda Las Cuevas. 4 minutes and 40 seconds down.
I'm nearly sure Indurain will nearly ride away in his own today. As Ugramov goes at the back door.
That's a nice expression, out the back door.
Well, that's what we say. The back door opens, you go out and close again.
I like the French word lâcher, you know, when it goes. Well, they're fighting their way back again at the moment. Amanda Las Cuevas, 4 minutes 40 seconds down on Indurain. He was 2 minutes 28 seconds was Rominger. So there's a gap of over 2 minutes and 20 seconds between Amanda Las Cuevas and Rominger. He might not drop him by 2 minutes today. The man who's not in this group, Gianluca Bortolami, who was third this morning. So we're going to have an entirely different look at the general classification. As an amazing ride here.
It is. He's really showing everybody, listen, if you want to attack me, but I'm going to get you back anyway. It's a bit unfortunate for Pantani, because the fact that Rominger is gone now, Indurain is more inclined to put the hammer down, and he might actually catch Pantani and take away the stage win. Well, Indurain may not go for the stage win himself, but what he's going for is to put as much time as he can into Rominger, who is in reality his real rival.
So Pantani's gone under the 5 kilometre to go, and so has the chasing group. He's now down to 26 seconds. It was 35, so Indurain's work at the front is having its effect.
Is going at the back door. Oh. Well, he's not going at the back door, but the door is open at the moment, so if he isn't careful, he'll fall out himself.
And they're heading into the Merc, where we may have difficulty picking up the action. So we have Pantani on the front. Then here, Miguel Indurain in the yellow jersey. Only Luc Leblanc close on his wheel at the moment. Amanda Las Cuevas struggling to stay with him. They're heading up then into this heavy mist, which is just for the last 5 kilometres of this race. And it goes up and up and up to the point 1,560 metres above sea level. And still this man, this machine, I should call him rather than a man, he's just riding up here, and everybody's just being blown off his wheel.
He's so powerful, so powerful today. I've rarely seen Miguel ride so strong on the front, especially for the last 5 kilometres. Something he's never done. Amanda Las Cuevas getting dropped.
Miguel Indurain wrecking havoc with the riders today. Amanda Las Cuevas having difficulty hanging on. Indurain's gone down the road with Leblanc, and with him also is Verank.
And you see the devil. This is the devil running on the side of the road.
The devil's up there in a yellow jersey, I can tell you.
He has, yeah. The devil is He's got a lot of riders today himself, the Devil has, huh?
The little devil, Claddagh, if you haven't seen him at all on this climb, he's been shelled out in no uncertain terms. Look at the sweat pouring down off his face. This man said he wanted a top 3 placing into Paris, and he's fighting his way back. I don't think I've seen him ride so hard in the mountains before. He's usually been working for other people, but De Las Cuevas now burying himself here. He is lying at the moment in 5th place on the road, and on general classification, he was this morning when we started out in 4th place. He's certainly moved up 1 because Borsalami is not with us.
Is going out. Behind gets up. Indurain will find himself on his own soon if he keeps going like this. This is an incredible exhibition of sheer power.
Well, it's the rest day tomorrow, and all these riders have got very, very tired legs indeed. They'll want to rest. But the man who's made their legs hurt more than any other is Miguel Indurain. He thrashed him in the time trial when they couldn't be with him because they go at minute intervals, or so 2-minute intervals. But here now, they've been on the road together. They're covering 263.5 kilometres on the stage today. That's 164 miles, and the last 10 kilometres or so are pretty well straight up the hill. He's asking Leblanc to come through.
Luc Leblanc is the only rider with him, Michael. I cannot see Luc going through because Luc, I'm sure, wants to win the stage. He is, hasn't been very lucky so far in any Tour de France, apart from 2 years ago he hit a jersey for a day, I think. But as you see, Armin de las Cuevas coming back as the fog gets even more dense. But if Miguel Indurain gets across to Pantani, Luc Leblanc will be a danger man for the stage, I'd say.
Yeah, because a bit faster off the mark, you mean? Yeah.
Well, also the fact that Indurain, he will be more or less happy to have consolidated his lead over the second place rider, who would possibly be either at this stage possibly Rominger or de las Cuevas, if de las Cuevas puts more time into Rominger, and wouldn't be fighting 110% for the finish line, I wouldn't think.
What an amazing man, Miguel Indurain going up here, just thump, thump, thump on those pedals, and Luc Leblanc sitting on his wheel. Well, Luc Leblanc had a rather unfortunate start to the Tour. He's been struggling quite a bit, but he's showing his form that carried him into the King of the Mountains jersey in the Tour of Spain. The disaster of the day is the way that Rominger now has been blasted out and is losing time all the way up this climb.
This will put the record straight now for Indurain. Like, even I admit to myself, I have said that Indurain lacks a bit of panache, a bit of exhibitionism, whereas here today on this first mountain climb in the Tour de France, maybe it's because if Rominger hasn't dropped, he's doing it, it's coming out, he's bringing it out, but it's always lacked in Miguel Indurain's performance. We've never actually seen him riding on the front for any length of time and giving us a demonstration of what he can do. So it's great to see him here now in the 94 Tour de France doing this.
And let's not forget in front Pantani, who went away at the bottom of the climb. Last time check we had, it was down to 26 seconds. It had been as far as 35. The cameras have not gone up through the murk to see him, as the Basque flags are flying here, and the whole of Pamplona, I'm sure, will erupt when the news hits them that Indurain has just decimated Rominger. There seems to be no way at the moment, Steve, that Rominger can get up to him at this the way he's going now. No,
Rominger seems to have had a bad patch. Whatever's wrong, is it his knee, that he's been saying since he started to the front, has been at him? Is it just the big man of the hammer has got him? Is it the distance? Is it the rain that came down earlier on, the cold? Because Rominger's a rider that rides much better when it's warmer. The warmer it is, the better he rides. So is it the weather that got to him, made his legs get heavy? We don't know. We'll know definitely tomorrow. But in the meantime, Pantani is in the front now, heading for the line, and with Miguel Indurain chasing very, very hot pursuit behind him.
And Indurain working his way around these hairpin bends, and in fact I get the gap down to 15 seconds, only 15 seconds back from Pantani. They should be able to see him through the murk and gloom. Yes, you can see now that the ping pong bat is going, making sure everybody comes through, because Indurain is fighting his way back. Only 15 seconds between him and Pantani. One time it's 35. Spectators getting absolutely over the top on this one. I wish they'd stay on the side of the road, because that young lad then could easily have brought somebody down. But now in the gloom, Indurain plying up, trying to get a stage victory, at the same time damaging the likelihood of this man de las Cuevas getting up to him. Only Luc Leblanc is hanging on, and they're bringing up all the vehicles out of the way, as Pantani still in the front here. Pantani looking back through the gloom, the flashing lights of the motorcycle. Pantani still leads on the climb, and here is Luc Leblanc taking over. That's certainly going to aid Indurain, who's asking for some help, and Cameron is being asked to go further forward. Pantani still leads, only about 10 seconds back to Luc Leblanc and Miguel Indurain. Miguel Indurain has ridden a fantastic ride up this climb. He's decimated the opposition. He's still now just hanging on behind Luc Leblanc, but they can see Pantani through the murky gloom. We're inside the last couple of kilometres of this race. They've had 10 kilometres of constant climbing through the mist. It's been a terrible, terrible condition over the last 5 kilometres with this hanging mist and fog up at the top. It's been like it all day here. Spectators having their anorak on to keep warm, and these riders have come in off the valley, and they've got the climb. And Pantani, who rocketed away at the bottom now, has got to really dig deep into his reserve to stay away, because Luc Leblanc is after him, desperate to get a stage victory on French soil here. And behind him, the big Spaniard, Miguel Indurain, just sitting there very comfortably indeed. The gap is coming down. Pantani must now beginning to wonder if he's got some more to dig in. He's riding quite smoothly, but not quite as sharp as he did before.
He is, but the lads behind are coming back at him. As he looks over his shoulder and sees Indurain coming back. The fact that the fog has been down very dense, he has had no indication as to where they have been. It's the first time now, I'm sure, he's seen them, whereas before he knew they were behind him but didn't know how close they were. Whereas now, if he has anything left in his body, he will, I'd say, try and accelerate. But there's still 2 kilometres to go, and it's going to be touch and go, I think.
Stephen, you won that stage in 1992 at Delabre Boyle through somewhat similar conditions. The crowds will probably be even worse then. What's it like sucking in all this damp air? Because there's a lot of dampness in that option, isn't there?
It is not good for the system. That's could be another reason once again why Rominger got left behind. Like he's a rider who is very well timed. It's like a Formula 1 racing car. The slightest little thing going against him will knock him off balance, and it's possibly because of the bad weather today that he is knocked off.
Indurain now has caught Pantani. He looks back, he tried to get the stage victory, and Indurain has come up to him. Only Luc Leblanc could hold Indurain's wheel. Leblanc did a bit of chasing. Leblanc is now going away as they caught Pantani. A good thing, because Indurain just looked round and away he went then. And Luc Leblanc starts to accelerate here, and has he timed it right though? He went quick, then he slowed down again.
That's because they're on his wheel. I'd say Pantani probably jumped on his wheel.
Still then, Luc Leblanc trying to get this stage then into Lourdes Hautacam. The first time we've been up here, so it's an unknown.
Oh, I'm saying things wrong
unknown territory for them. 2 kilometres to go, and he's gone.
Well, Luc Leblanc is less dangerous than a guy like Pantani, because Luc Leblanc will always have a bad day, whereas Pantani is an unknown character. He had a great Tour of Italy ride a few weeks ago, but nobody knows how well he's going to go here in the mountains. So Indurain will be more inclined to let a guy like Luc Leblanc go than let a guy like Pantani, who in the mountains, who is, as he proved in Tour of Italy, every day he gets stronger.
In the Stygian gloom of the climb up Lourdes Hautacam, the battle is being fought out here as we're inside the last 2 kilometres to go. Luc Leblanc went away and tried to get the stage, but back to him comes the remorseless effort of Indurain, inching his way back up again.
Looks so strong Indurain today.
Terrific, isn't it?
I wonder, is he going to try and go for the stage? Because often we've kind of said that Indurain is a great rider, but doesn't go for stage wins, and does the minimum. Whereas is he going to go for a stage win? As he sprints out the A, he's going for a stage win today.
He's come straight up to Leblanc. That was an acceleration which has blown Pantani out, and he did it effortlessly. We don't normally see Indurain accelerate like that, do we? Normally rides at a constant speed. That was unusual, wasn't it?
Today he has the hair on his neck is standing up because he wants to, I'd say today's got to try and put records straight.
Well, we're not far from the Spanish border, and the Spaniards, you've seen him in the crowd with the red and yellow flags and that Basque flag, the one with all the crosses and diamonds all over the thing, the unusual coloured flag of the Basque flags. We'll probably pick one out for you later on. Pantani, who started the attack down the bottom, now has lost contact, but he's going to try and fight his way back as Leblanc and Indurain eye each other now like 2 fighting tomcats. Leblanc tried to go away, Indurain's come back up to him, and they're worried a bit about the Pantani, who could come through the murk again. This would make a horror movie almost, with all these clouds about the place. The horrific thing is, though, that Rominger is being blasted out of the race by this man, Miguel Indurain, who started 2 minutes and 2 seconds ahead of Rominger. In fact, 2 minutes 28 seconds ahead of Rominger. So he's now really hitting him hard where it hurts most in the time gap, which is now opening up, and Indurain just riding away here, and Leblanc is having difficulty holding his wheel.
If he goes like this, he'll be some 6, 7, 8 minutes ahead of a second place rider tonight.
And there was that 1 kilometre to go, and the cartoon then of the organiser standing on his chair with the rope around his neck and the pistol to his head, and it said at the top, "Is the tour finished?" ? Well, it looks the way he's going now that Indurain has just said, "I'll sort this one out the way I know best. I will decimate them in the time trial, then I'll go on the first climb of the day." He probably has been smarting for the fact that people said he don't attack, and now what is he doing?
Maybe he's realised also the fact that he might need as much time as possible in the head, because he saw how weak his team was. So he thought, well, the more time I have in front of my second place rider, the better. So this is possibly why he realised now that today's a chance of getting time out of Rominger, De Las Cuevas, Pontani. So now they have the chance. You don't think about tomorrow. You go and you go and you go, and this is what he's doing here today.
Betting himself on the climb. For once in a while, look at his face now. We don't normally see Indurain with this sort of face. He's absolutely burying himself.
He's going flat out. He's going flat out today. He's keeping nothing for tomorrow. He's giving everything for today. He has the hands down the hooks. Normally, he would have the hands on top of the bars. I'd say he's even trying to blow out Luc Leblanc, as he is, I'm sure.
Well inside that final kilometre, Leblanc has held on, though. Leblanc is also digging deep into reserves. Leblanc has held the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. He's been the king of the mountains in the Tour of Spain. He's a very good, gutsy climber. We come through the Dordogne part of Leblanc's territory. His name was written all over the roads when we're down near Bergerac and Cahors. And now going up to the Merck, not far to go. Leblanc has responded, but Indurain is still there alongside him. Still these two battling out to the finish. Indurain in the final few metres has responded to Luc Leblanc's effort. Leblanc's got to go back on his will. What a race we got here.
Leblanc's using a bigger gear, so he gets a little bit of an upper hand on Miguel. Miguel won't get past him.
300 metres to go. You can't see the finish. They can't see the finish. We can't see them either. We're on the finish line as Leblanc starts to accelerate on the right-hand side. Up he goes past Indurain. Can Indurain respond? And yes, Leblanc now is out of the saddle, and Indurain is after him, swinging round then. We've got a left-hander, and there's been problems here coming through the Merck. We're looking down from our fixed camera position, and Leblanc still has the edge as all the vehicles swing off to the right, and there's the finish banner. Leblanc coming through the Merck. Looks like he's going to get this one, and Leblanc's arm goes up. He gets it just ahead of Indurain, who's across the line. He's nearly out on his bike. Leblanc got the stage victory, which Indurain was trying to get, and we've got to watch then the gap between Rominger and De Las Cuevas, and Rominger and Indurain, because those are the two contenders for the crown. As Pontani comes in to third spot, the man who started the attack at the bottom, hoping to get the stage victory, coming in just some 25 seconds down. But we've got to watch on to see what the gap is back to Rominger, back to De Las Cuevas, because those are the other men that are most in contention for the yellow jersey. As Richard Ferrand comes round the corner now, being hotly pursued, but still can't see Rominger. I think that might have been De Las Cuevas coming round. Let's hope we pick him up to the Merck here. There, Ferrand. Next, maybe De Las Cuevas. Let's see what the gap is at the moment. Oh, it's gone again. We're peering back down. I think it might be De Las Cuevas coming through here. Ferrand is the next one in. Is that De Las Cuevas?
Yeah, it's De Las Cuevas.
Well, he was 59 seconds behind.
Still he's held on well, he has, huh?
So it's about 59, say about 59 to 1 minute thereabouts. He's lost another minute on Indurain. But what has happened to Rominger? As Tonkov comes up the climb and through the Merck, the clock is running. The 125 down there, that was the gap.
Tonkov, Ugramov has come in as well.
Right, we can see him just about there. I can see his bald head actually, Ugramov, just through the Merck, and Stephen Roche is peering over the top of our commentary point, because the television pictures are far more blurred. We can actually see better from our viewpoint by eye, and I think that Furlan's just come in.
Zaina,
was it, right?
Yeah.
And another one coming through the Merck.
Conti, Kubino, Zula, Pundikov.
And still no sign of Rominger, and it's 1:53 on the clock from Indurain and Nelson Rodriguez crosses the line and crosses himself too. It's been a hard old day in the saddle, 6 hours and 58 minutes for the victor. And still, Bjorn Rees comes up here with, looks like Rominger coming up with Bjorn Rees now. Yes, they're coming up here. Got the watch on him as Rominger goes over the line. 2 minutes and 15 seconds deficit back to Rominger. 2:15 is the gap. And it was about 1 minute back to De Las Cuevas. I don't think De Las Cuevas will have overtaken Rominger, but he'll close up on general classification now by having taken a minute out of him. So we're going to find that De Las Cuevas threatening Rominger, but certainly the general classification provisionally first Indurain, second Rominger, and third De Las Cuevas. But Indurain has punched another couple of minutes out of Rominger, and that was...
Rominger looks very, very tired now.
Yes.
I wouldn't think it was a knee problem. It was more of a bad day, I think, because he's not, doesn't seem to have any complaints at all. He's just ridden back down the hill again. I'd say it's the day without, as you say.
So riders still coming in, lots splattered down the course. LeBlanc the winner today. More riders yet to come up through the murk. We started this morning at the middle old town of Cahors.
See Laurent Defoe coming in for the Onset team.
And the gap on the left-hand side, 3:43. We had 175 riders at the start this morning, and we've only seen about 20 of them come in. There's going to be an enormous gap back to the last men.
I think I saw Maya coming in there a minute ago also.
And Bunyo, is that Bunyo?
No.
Looking through the murk, they all look the same. Just pick out the colour of the jersey. No, that was Perron. So more riders coming up here. Yeah, and Utskov. Yes, Utskov there from the Polti team over the line. This has been a very, very rough day indeed for these riders, and the Colombian champion just coming in then. Fernandez. So the Colombians enjoying the mountains here. The big men will be down the bottom struggling like crazy.
Biat's coming in for the Carrera team. We haven't seen Claudio Capucci at all, so
he's way out, isn't he?
Way out. He must have had a very, very bad day. Which is very unusual for Capucci. We're normally used to seeing him up here always in the first stage in the mountains. But maybe it's the weather again, which has torn his nuts down.
Well, amongst the abandonments today, Roberto Petito abandoned. He crashed yesterday. So he's had it. Also, Bourman has retired today. So Charlie Motte coming in.
Brooking and Charlie Motte.
Yeah. What a climb. I mean, Brooking just at the bottom of it was sat with the main pack, was it? He's lost 5 minutes in 10 kilometres.
Yeah.
And he's no slouch when it comes to climbing either.
As the lads now, they're going back down. They will have had their team bus parked on the bottom of the hill, and Stephen Rush comes over the line. They will have their team bus parked on the bottom of the hill. They will do a U-turn and go back down into the team bus, 10 kilometres down the hill and back to the hotel, because as you see, Johnny Bunyo has actually come through also, because if the riders wait here until everything is over, it means they'll be getting to the bottom of the hill about midnight, because we're up here in our commentary box, but we'll not get off this hill until about 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight, because so many cars on the road, it's impossible to get down in the car. So the riders, what they do is, when they arrive on the line, they put a jacket on them and go straight down before they get cold to the bottom of the hill, where the bus is waiting with some warm, dry clothes for them, which will take them to the hotel then.
It must be very distressing, though, for riders further back down the climb then, just to see, as they're still sort of coming up, these chaps are whizzing back down.
It is, but it's due today and me tomorrow, like it's, everyone has their turn, but of course the big sprinter guys, they're always behind. As you see, Gert Tunney's coming with Abdu. Abdu's done a good ride today.
Very good. He's only lost, what, 6 minutes, 20 seconds. We haven't seen Capucci yet, have we?
No.
As he came through the mist, but Abdu Jafarov's got up the climb.
Yeah. What's happened to Capucci? Maybe he had some other trouble, maybe, but maybe he's in. We didn't see him coming through.
Maybe the little devil slipped in. We didn't see him through the fog.
But the fog is very difficult to recognise anybody coming through here. It's so bad.
TVM riders here being interviewed. They're very happy with the success of Bo Hamburger. And in fact, Cahors-Lourdes was telling me this morning that his parents came down to see the time trial, and they hadn't read the papers at all. And they got down there. They're leaning over the barriers to find out what went on.
Lance Armstrong has come in there with Chili Marie.
saying about the Bo Hamburger's parents at the time trial, and somebody said, "Oh, well done, your lad. He won the stage yesterday," and they thought that he was pulling the leg. They didn't know he won the stage. Amazing! So all elation suddenly had to wait for the sun to come in, and then went and congratulated him.
Great experience, very good.
Yeah,
very happy parents.
Well, they're coming in penny numbers now, and the Merc here faced the riders for the last 5 kilometres of this climb. Climb up the Hautacam, first time it's been used, and been used to good effect by Miguel Indurain, who once again has put the hammer down on the riders. And you can see, when you consider that this lot were all swarming along together, because what we're seeing now is not the tailors who got blown out, say back at Tarbes or something like that. These chaps were all there at the bottom of the climb, and they've just been absolutely blown out the back.
As Raul
Hautacam, he's way down, so around about 7 minutes or so, I suppose. And Luc Leblanc here, the French spectators going absolutely mad. We've had 2 French victories in 2 days now, with Durand winning yesterday. Well, the French press was slagging off their chances and saying, well, you know, we need some stage victories. Well, they've got them now then, because they had one yesterday with Jackie Durand and that breakaway when he was away for somewhere over 90 miles. And today, Luc Leblanc, who came up that final climb in company with Indurain to take the stage success at Lourdes Hautacam in fine style.
That often happens with the French lads. They are very, very slow to get off the road, off the ground. But once one of the French riders gets a win, it normally incites the second one to come fairly shortly afterwards, because everyone wants to be. As there are very few French riders in the race this year compared to previous years, everyone wants to be talked about, to be the best French rider overall, to be the only French rider that won a stage, or anything a French rider will do here will always be taken note of, because there's so few of them in the race this year.
And there we are. Flashback and flash of a camera to pick up Leblanc crossing the line in 6 hours, 58 minutes and 4 seconds. Indurain just 2 seconds behind. Pantani 18, Orank at 56, De Las Cuevas at 58. So French there having one man in first and a man in fourth and fifth. So they'll be elated with that one. You can see written all over his face there is the joy at winning this, the stage 11 on the 13th of July. But the man who really thrashed the rest of the field unmercifully today took over a minute out of De Las Cuevas, took over 2 minutes out of Tony Rominger. Another yellow jersey to add to the magnificent collection that he's had ever since he started dominating the Tour de France. Now riding on to his 4th victory the way he's going at the moment. He seldom, in fact I don't think I've ever seen him have a really bad day, so they must wonder now what they've got to do, because today Miguel Indurain showed that he was the one who was going to throw down the gauntlet to the rest of them and say, I'm number one, and there he is in the yellow jersey. The time trial put him in the yellow, but he's shown on the first big mountain climb of the day that he can climb as good, if not better than anybody else. The only man to beat him today, Luc Leblanc, for the stage. That was by a slender 2 seconds, and the rest of the men in contention for the crown were way, way down the road behind him. Marvellous performance, Stephen.
It's an incredible performance, but it's definitely going to give an awful lot of lads something to think about tonight. But the only positive thing that can be taken out of it is, as you can see Miguel face at him. We've very rarely seen this kind of face on Miguel. But it was only a mountaintop finish. There was nothing else in the race, only this mountaintop finish. So we have seen in the past that Miguel will always, anytime he's had to attack or he's had to ride hard, he's done it for 10, 15, 20 kilometres, and that's what he's gone down. So the other riders, I think, just to kind of give them a bit of encouragement that there's not going to be too much discouraged, is that in the mountains, when you have 4 or 5 mountains that we see, Luc Leblanc will be very, very happy to have won, as I would be if I was in his place. But Luc Leblanc, Miguel, if he has to go have a couple of climbs in each day, he'll always, as you saw his team being very weak this year, he may be isolated after first and second hill and may have to do an awful lot of work. That's the only way that Miguel could be put in difficulty this moment, I think.
Well, Abdul Japarov, who came in some 6 minutes down on the victor, showing enormous strength and courage. He didn't have to ride up like that, but he's certainly given him more points again in that green jersey. He's dominating this competition almost as much as Miguel Indurain is dominating the yellow jersey. This is awarded for points as they go across the line and in the intermediate sprints as well. And he's got himself up probably in the top 25 or 30 riders today. So now Abdul Japarov in the green jersey yet again. He's had this one on his shoulders right the way through since stage 1. He's not let it go, and the way he's fighting at the moment, I can't see him letting that one go all the way into Paris except on his shoulders. Abdu Jafarov, leader of the PMU green jersey sprints competition. The points, Abdu Jafarov, number 1.
Abdu has made an awful lot of progress this year. Even in Paris-Nice in the early part of the season, he was very much to the front in the mountain climbs. And now here he is again in the Tour de France, having a go on some of the stages, even on the flat. And here he is now on the first mountain stage, burying himself to finish 6 minutes, because you can only say burying himself because Abdu, being a heavy rider, not being any kind of a climber, he must have had to bury himself to finish with this kind of class riders we have around him here, and only 6 minutes down on the yellow jersey. And Luc Leblanc, the winner of the stage.
Another group of riders have just come in, and that's somewhere around about 11 minutes after Luc Leblanc crossed the line in first place. And I think I can see the polka dot jersey of de Klerk has now come in here, but Leblanc will have got himself 40 points for that climb. And I'll just have a quick little look at the...
You can imagine that all these riders are all together on the foot of the hill. The hill was 11 and a half, 12 kilometres long. They've lost 1 minute a kilometre, what can you believe? 1 minute a kilometre. This shows you back home that the hill, looking at Indurain here, going on it, makes it look very, very easy. But to lose 1 minute a kilometre on anybody just goes to show you the ingredient of the hill was by no means a flat hill.
Nelson Rodriguez, slow motion action replay of him finishing 2. We're just giving you on the screens then the pain and the suffering that Indurain meted out, and now they've got Yugrimov up into 4th and Leblanc up into 5th spot overall. So Leblanc then now looking very, very menacingly indeed. But really, if you take out Indurain's time at the top, those other men, there's only about a minute covering the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment. So there's one race, in fact there's only one, there's not a race. He's in the yellow jersey and the rest of the race is for 2nd.
But if Indurain wasn't here, it could be a great race. Because the other lads are more or less the same level, so they could have a great battle between them. And